The lamp that makes things clear, a prophecy of things to come. Homage to the three jewels. The victorious one, Shakyamuni Buddha, once related this teaching applicable to a time when the evil period would arise. It is like a path because all sentient beings are connected to it. When the victorious one was sitting under the Bodhi tree and thinking of all sentient beings of the world, he saw that at the end of the 500 years, an evil age would begin. As to the deeds and thoughts of all these beings, those with great merit would come into contact with this teaching, while those with little merit would not. The pain from conflicting emotions would be great indeed. Because it seemed that humans living on the surface of the earth would be as if cut to pieces with swords due to this, the Venerable Ananda pleaded with the Victorious One. Victorious One, because you consider things with great compassion, spare humankind this torment. The Victorious One replied to the Venerable Ananda, I have this to say about it. While I was residing in the great expanse of space, I was thinking of and gazing on the beings of the world. So listen, there is a teaching useful during the time when the dark age arises. If one writes it, propagates it, and practices the great responsiveness meditation and recitation, impurities and obscurations will be quickly purified. If one sincerely makes offerings to this spiritual text with flowers and incense, all sentient beings will benefit. By propagating this text and writing about it, one will obtain a good existence throughout all of one's lives. Then, near the base of a tree, there was a great lake. On its shores sat the greatly responsive one, Avalokitesvara, in the form he appears with and for others. While considering all beings in his responsiveness and compassion, he began to shed copious tears. Then the Victorious One said, Listen carefully, O greatly responsive one. It is not necessary to shed tears, so heed my words well. During the month of the tiger in the new year, I intend to go to many places. At that time, during the evil age, all sentient beings will be freed from the ocean of existence's miseries. All evil conduct will be abandoned, and I will lead sentient beings away from evil states. At that time, the spiritual text will be well known. Because of this text, and by making it known, all sickness will end. If written about by one person, it will benefit one city. If proclaimed by one city, it will benefit all states. The merit of humankind will be increased and secondary evil influences averted. One will be free of hellish torments, and it will be of benefit for both this life and the next one. This path is desirable for all sentient beings of the 6 classes. For example, it is like taking a boat across a river or the ocean. This is truly a most beneficial text until Maitreya arrives in the world of humans. By writing of this teaching and spreading it to other areas in one lifetime, in one embodiment, one's merit will increase limitlessly. The bloody ocean of life, as a vicious circle, will dry up. First, because of the 10 impure practices, sentient beings will come under the power of conflicting emotions. Oh, pity on these sentient beings. After this, an area, a valley, in the human realm will be as if filled with blood. 3. When it comes to reaping your own merits, you will be powerless to do so. 4. Human suffering will become very great. 5. People won't be able to perceive the path. 6. Cities will become filled with carnivorous animals. 7. The residence of politicians will become deserted. 8. Individuals will be unable to cope with one another. 9. Hungry ghosts will be seen wandering about the cities. Things will be like this as a result of 10 impure practices. One will not compliment or praise another person, and there will be only praise of oneself and putting down others. There will basically be 4 social groups: politicians, the rich, common people, and the well-educated. If all of these peoples have confidence in this text and devotion toward it, a good time period will result. But, the victorious one said, if people have an irrational trust with it, they will follow one another and fall straight into the most intolerable of hells. The earth and heavens will be filled with the cries of those who have not heard this teaching. A time of epidemics will result, but as soon as one hears this spiritual message and then writes it down and distributes it, these epidemics will be brought under control. All famine that might exist will be pacified and people will achieve a good existence. Furthermore, there are 7 miseries that humans might suffer. First, there is the misery like that of a denizen in hell. Second, the misery of hunger and thirst for a hungry ghost. Third, the misery of disputes and warfare as an anti-God might experience. Fourth, the frustration resulting from having no leisure and constant hunger and want. Fifth, the misery of having erroneous views. Sixth, the misery of having a long life like a god. And seventh, the misery and potential existence when in the after-death state. This text is of benefit for these situations, for if one trusts in it, one will achieve success in all that one may strive for. All diseases will be destroyed, and there will be a return to good times. If one is to ask how these things come about, it is like this. Out of deep space in the fire male horse year of 2026, a large meteor will strike down on the shores of a large body of water. This spiritual text will appear when the meteor cracks open. Having appeared, it is very important, when teaching this document, that there are no secret or hidden meanings. There is but one, no secondary meaning. It has been put together for the benefit of all sentient beings. May all the torments of existence end. After 500 years will be a time when the teachings of the spiritually awakened one will be on the decline, and monks' ethics and general conduct will become corrupted. When evil thoughts will occupy the mind, and food supplies will be contaminated, a time when the 10 unwholesome deeds will be practiced, and practitioners of advanced spiritual techniques will recite only evil mantras, and the 5 poisons will overwhelm one's perceptions. It will be a time when body and speech acts will be perverted. Teaching of spiritual values will deteriorate. A time when feathers will grow on mountains, and a person will travel about in wooden and metal vehicles. All of one's actions will merely contribute to evil happenings. A time of fearlessness when evil will manifest most definitely. This text will reverse the contributory evil causes of this time. By so much as seeing it, writing of it, proclaiming it, there is no doubt that these evil times will end. It is sufficient to see what is true and what is not true, and to say what one knows to be the truth. And those people who say it is untrue, from the tops of their heads to the bottom of their feet, signs that they will be seized by sickness will appear. After the victorious one had spoken these words, Avalokitesvara, Maitreya, Ananda, gods, anti-gods, humans, and spirits who live on odors all rejoiced and offered great praise of the words. The victorious one touched his right hand, marked with certain signs and characteristics, to the earth, and by this act conquered the dark forces of spiritual death, along with their retinue. I experienced an unbelievable happiness and joy and decided to always engage myself with this discriminative appreciation that goes beyond itself, that tames beings by pacifying all sickness and evil. Then the spiritually awakened one, the victorious one, after remaining in meditative stasis, uttered this summary of his discourses as part of the teachings as a whole. Again, Ananda asked the victorious one, "Victorious one, since you have delivered this teaching, turn around the obstacles and evil conditions within existence. In the Earth Male Monkey Year 2028, an epidemic will occur, and its impact will be very profound. If all sentient beings do not think that this is true and have no confidence in this letter and are not able to propagate it, then the dark evil forces of spiritual death will be satisfied. If there is confidence and they do publish this, then great well-being will arise. Great benefit will come from the spiritual text. That's it. Great. That's for sure. May you always teach it. May most excellent good and wholesomeness arise. May capabilities and merits always increase. This has been taught by all of the spiritually awakened ones. You yourself are energetic to this truth, of benefit to beings. At the end of a future time, the qualities of this will be beyond imagination. For the person who is confident in this, all desires will be fulfilled. Evil conditions and obstacles will be diverted. The person who is confident in the teachings of a spiritually awakened person should make offerings of flowers and incense. Then Maitreya looked back from the expanse of space. He saw blood coming from the eyes of humans, so he went to the Victorious One and asked, "Victorious One, I pray that you give a teaching of great sustaining power as to what is to come, gathering the meaning in only a few words." The Victorious One replied, "Very well, Maitreya. Listen to what I say. I choose this for the benefit of all sentient beings as well as Brahma, Indra, and so on. I will convey my words and their meaning for the sake of beings. It is certainly very positive to be energetically devoted to this. In the autumn of the fire female horse year, 2026, in the year of the earth male monkey, 2028, all of those evil persons who have no confidence in this teaching will die. But if one writes of it and propagates it, then one will live for a long time without sickness, and merit will become very great. All the harmful forces of this evil time will quickly gather in the cities. They will run and hide themselves so that humans will not be able to see where they are. At that time, the power of the spiritual text will scatter those noxious demons and they will run away. So it is important to spread this text to all areas. One should not entertain any doubts and think that this is not true. The spiritually awakened one, incomparable teacher of gods and men, is the tamer of beings, sensitive to the world, gone into well-being, and head of the spiritually aware family. Those persons who do not have any confidence in this teaching will experience a great earthquake in the year of the fire horse 2026. When the evil times come in the fire female sheep year 2027, there will be death due to overcrowding. Some will die on the road, some from heart disease. In the year of the earth male monkey 2028, there will be terrible floods. In the summer, death will come from famine-induced epidemics. At that time, demons will be all over the place. If one writes of and propagates this text, there will be no harm from obstructions or demons. In the earth female bird year 2029, there will be no harm. Nonetheless, it will be very important to guard one's discipline and not eat red meat. In the iron male dog year 2030, all cities and surrounding areas will be filled with carnivorous animals such as tigers, bears, wild dogs, wolves, and the like. At that time, it will be very important to write of and propagate this text as a method for liberating humans. In the iron female pig year 2031, all sentient beings will lose self-control and will be like a brown paper bag about in the wind, or as if carried off in a flood. Then those who lack belief in this text will die. Then the Victorious One said to the greatly responsive one, "During the year of the mouse, 2032, a sound with spiritual qualities will be heard coming out of the depths of space, and like the light of the sun and moon, because of the strength and sustaining power of the spiritually awakened one, if one writes of and propagates this text, which illuminates all of the 4 directions and 8 points in between, then it will be of benefit until Maitreya comes. If one writes of and propagates this, one will obtain merit like a mountain in size. In the palace of Potala, a transformative form of the spiritually awakened one's communication dwells, surrounded by a retinue of those in whom pure and total mind has taken over. All sentient beings above and below, in all the 10 directions, are placed in well-being. This well-being is intensified for the sake of all sentient beings on account of the compassionate intentions of the greatly responsive one for all humans. By thinking that this is untrue, or if one entertains doubts, a period of plagues will become widespread in the middle of summer. People will die from dawn to dusk. At that time, calculating from when the evil period of time increases, all the forests, ecosystems will collapse. All the rocky mountains will crumble at their bases. One will not be able to bear the leveling process of the earth's mountains. For every 10 persons, only one will be left. If one thinks that this is not so, it is the word of the victorious one. O pity, sentient beings. In the fire female sheep year 2027 and in the earth male monkey year 2028, the evil 500 time will emerge. This disruption will come from every direction, in the 8 subdivisions as well. People will be defiled by quarrels and restlessness. The spiritual text will liberate one from these omens and the evil time merely if one has confidence in it, sees, writes about it, propagates it. Agitation will thereby be pacified. If one does this, limitless good will come about. May beings be free of all terror and fear. This spiritual work, which has no secondary meaning, has been composed for the benefit of all sentient beings. This spiritual text will spread fully to all realms and all humans will be happy. May virtuous sentient beings be free of misery. If one is not energetic in making the text an object of sustained attention for 5 or 6 months, then a period of sickness and disease will come. Some will die from fever, some from chills, some from stomach ailments, some from madness, some from skin disease, some from heart disease, others from liver disease. There is a remedy for these harms. When impermanence begins to show its mark on the body, if men and women tie this mantra, which will protect them, to their bodies, this protecting mantra will free them from all plagues and the harms of demons, water spirits, and gods. Emaho penno penno soha. Should be worn on the right side of the body for a male, and on the left side for a woman. If one does this, one will be freed from these diseases and plagues, and will have a good life. If one writes about, propagates, and is confident in it, there is no doubt that one will be liberated from the bloody ocean of life's miseries. O pity for all humans everywhere. May all torments that come with an untimely death be completely pacified. May there be good times, as before. May one obtain limitless merit. For all those beings who have no confidence in the spiritual text, as before, there will be no chance for them to believe, and so diseases will spring up everywhere in the cities. Even if there is nutritious food, one will not, at that time, be able to eat it. Then the greatly responsive one, the noble of Avalokitesvara, in order to produce compassion in the hearts of sentient beings, spoke this portion of the teaching. I pray, victorious one, that you empower this text. I pray that you empower it with your consecration. Again, the victorious one said, if one performs religious service to this text with devotion and confidence, then the whole evil time will stop. It will be beneficial for all disease and illness. May all humans who dwell on the surface of the earth obtain limitless merit. When they are liberated from the unhappiness, epidemics, sickness, and unrest which are signs of the evil age, may they come to experience good times as before. On account of the positive nature in making a wish such as this, the qualities of the benefit, if a person should do this, especially during the month of the rabbit and of the horse, is beyond imagining. If people come to write of and propagate this, they will come to possess a long life, free from illness, and will find happiness and well-being. Even if they write of one part of this, all noxious influences of the evil age will be pacified in their own time. What has occurred before will increase once again in the year of the dragon. It will show itself, but will be unable to expand out into the realms of the world because of the evil times arising. After that, in the fire male horse year of 2026, this text will increase. This work is a technique for diverting the evil time. If one is not able to spread its ideas to all countries, ripening crops will be destroyed by 3 frosts or hail. Secondly, the specter of famine will arise, and when disease, with no apparent etiology, occurs, there will be much suffering and unhappiness. But if one writes of and propagates this, there is no doubt that one will be liberated from all this misery. Until Lord Maitreya arrives in this world, this text is the refuge for sentient beings. If one is confident and devoted to it, all obstacles and obscurations will be cleansed, and one will be purified. May there be most excellent good. May the jewels of necessity in wishing come into being. May all countries have good fortune. May the whole earth be made pleasing. When unrest, sickness, famine in all countries is pacified, may there be a most excellent rain for the crops, and may one spontaneously obtain one's wishes. May the glorious wealth of nations increase widely. May the turning of the wheel of spiritual teachings be steadfast always. After the victorious one had spoken, all the gods, Avalokitesvara, Maitreya, Ananda, anti-gods, humans, and the world, including those who live on sense, rejoiced and praised the speech very much. This completes the lamp that makes things clear, the prophecy of things to come.